Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News. As we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches, the BNN pregame show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Hopefully you can hear us okay out there. We are at the top of Viejas Arena. Our press seating is down below, Abe Jackson, but there was no Ethernet, so we came up here to the top. We can show you where we're at, way up here in the top corner of Viejas Arena. They got the blimp going.
We are higher than the blimp. That's how high we are right now.
My name is BJ Rains. He's Abe Jackson. Welcome on in to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show here with Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com. Do have Abe on every show to kick it off to preview the game tonight. And Abe, I guess we'll get right to the breaking news that everyone's wanting to know and talk about. They get one for two. They get one of the injured guys back.
Yep.
Najee Smith will play tonight. He's suiting up, and to me, looked almost normal. Looked pretty good. But Marcus Shaver Jr. is in a boot, and he's out tonight.
Yeah, and it's been the same lingering issue with Marcus Shaver, the same high ankle. It crept up on him in that Air Force game, and he went down and didn't return. And Najee went down in the first half against Air Force, but he's moving a lot better. I mean, he doesn't have a brace on. He doesn't have anything that he wouldn't normally wear. There's no limp. So I would expect Najee to be pretty much 100%. But like you said, one of your top scorers, rebounders, assists, steals, defenders is out, and Marcus Shaver.
And it just happened at a bad time. You got the bye coming up after this. I don't know if he would have been able to play if he had a week off instead of 3 days, but only 2 days off. Quick turnaround for Marcus. Just bad timing.
Yeah, it is, and it's a quick turnaround where you're on the road the whole time, and you don't have your home facilities to let you recover in your home training room. You're doing things from the hotel, so it was just bad timing. But here's the thing: is like every team at some point is going through something with injuries. Boise State's had a couple rounds with Marcus Shaver getting injured, and this is the second time.
Who's going to have to – I mean, we haven't seen the starting lineup yet. I don't know if they'll probably go with Jace Whiting, but I think Pavle is going to get some more minutes. Maybe when you shift guys around, maybe this becomes Sada Nganga getting a little more time. Where do they go at the guard spot here without Marcus?
I think Jace is going to start. I haven't seen the starting lineups, but when he was hurt earlier in the season in Marcus Shaver, Jace came in and played really well. He had some really good minutes for that backup point guard in the starting position. But I think this is going to be a game where Coach Rice just kind of throws things out there, right? To just kind of see what works. Is Mo Silla going to come out and play like he did against New Mexico in that first half? Or is maybe Pavle going to continue his good game at Air Force and bring that over to this game here against San Diego State? So I think you're going to see in the first half some different guys going in. And then depending on how they do, Coach Rice kind of ratchet up that playing time late first half and definitely in the second half.
We do have some video here of Najee Smith. Game obviously looks like he's good to go, but how big is that to get Najee Smith back tonight?
Well, it's huge. I mean, he's your rim protector, and there's not a lot of 6'6" rim protectors, but he leads the team in blocks. You're going against maybe one of the most athletic teams in the Mountain West, or even in the West in San Diego State. They're on their home court, which is an extremely tough place to play. If you didn't have Shaver and you didn't have Najee Smith, you'd really be hurting. But getting Najee back in a game like this, where a lot of it's about athleticism, definitely helps the Broncos.
What else? You mentioned Mo Silla. I mean, obviously San Diego State's got Nathan Mensah, one of the bigger players. Now, he's not really a huge threat offensively, but he can rebound the ball, and he obviously, defending is what he's, defensive player of the year in the past. But I think we could see Big Mo tonight as well. What do you make of that?
I think so. I think he'll be the first big off the bench. And Coach Rice, you look at matchups and you say, okay, well, who's going to match up with this tall, athletic guy in Nathan Mensah? And it's a tall, athletic guy in Mo Silla that Boise State has. And you mentioned it that Nathan Mensah is not a huge offensive threat, and I think that might be one of the reasons why Mo Silla gets in. I think Lucas Milner's a little bit better defensively against some players. Had some really good games last year, actually, against San Diego State and Nathan Mensah, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mo Silla gets some time. And again, I think Coach Rice is going to be plugging dudes in the first half. Pavle here, Kobe Young here, Jace Whiting, Mo Silla, and then just kind of see who's playing together and then start rolling with that group.
When you're without one of your key players, and everybody knows it, they've probably known it all day. I'm sure this isn't something where they just found out. What does that do for the rest of the players in terms of knowing that they're going to have, they're going into this game mentally without, maybe their best player?
Well, you have to get mentally prepared, especially whoever's going to be taking that space in the starting lineup, Jace Whiting, because it is mentally different to go from starter or off the bench to a starter. You prepare a little bit differently. Your mindset is a little bit different. If you're on the bench, you get a chance to see the flow of the game. What is it like? Is it physical? Is it not? If you're a starter, you're just in there experiencing it firsthand. So I think it's going to be Jace Whiting in the starting lineup. Nothing has come out official yet, but that's who it was earlier when Marcus got hurt. And then the bench, you have to have production from the bench. It's just one of those games where they're stacked against you. You're on the road, one of the best teams in the Mountain West, a perennial power in the conference. It's one of the toughest places to play. They were ranked in the top 25.
They still technically are.
Technically, because the new ones haven't come out yet. But so technically still a top 25 team in a place that you've only won 3 times. There's going to have to be something special from somebody in this game. Someone's going to have to do much more than their average.
I asked you before the Colorado State game if them beating Boise State both times, them storming the floor on them, if that was going to be motivating for Boise State this year. I flipped the switch, so I assume I know the question. But last year, San Diego State loses 3 times to Boise State. They lose on their home floor. They lose with 1 second left on the free throws in Boise. And then they lose in the championship game of the Mountain West tournament when they get 2 shots in the last 15 seconds, including the floater at the end that rolls around the rim and Boise State wins the game. I would assume San Diego State hasn't lost 3 times in a season very often to the same team.
Probably not.
They got a lot of the same players back. Viejas, Friday night, sellout crowd. I would think that San Diego State's been waiting for this one.
You have an extremely experienced team on San Diego State. Juniors and seniors galore up and down the roster. And that means that all those players were here last year when they lost 3 times for a combined 7 points in all 3 of those games. I know they've talked about it. It was probably on the bulletin board. It was probably saying, guys, this is how close we were to beating them 3 times, but we didn't get that single play or that one thing we needed to do. That's what we have to do tonight. So I guarantee it's motivation for San Diego State, but for Boise State as well. There's something about having stuff stacked against you that sometimes just brings out the best in your team, right? Boise State won here a few years ago. James Webb was hurt. He was the leading scorer, the best player on the team. Chandler Hutchinson wasn't really Chandler yet, came off the bench and had 16 points, and then they got the win here. So it could be one of those nights where Marcus Shaver's not playing and some other guys just do some phenomenal things.
It feels like you need a 16-point game from a Pavle Kuzmanovic or somebody like that, right?
Well, I don't know about a 16, but you need like an 8 from him and maybe an 8 from Jace and Mo Silla, a couple buckets.
Yeah.
I think the bench needs to give you about 15 in this game.
You'll be on the call in about 10 minutes with Bob Beeler, 670 KBOI. Final thing quickly, your just general thoughts, keys to this game.
I think this needs to be just a slugfest like it was last year. If this goes up and down the court and a bunch of shots are falling for San Diego State, I think that's when Boise State gets in trouble because you are missing one of your better scorers in Marcus Shaver. If you can keep this into the low 50s to maybe mid 50s, I think Boise State will have a pretty good chance.
And a veteran officiating crew with the game being on a Friday, probably not going to see a lot of fouls called if it goes to plan.
Do you know the crew?
Tony Padilla, Vern Harris, and Mike Cyphers.
Okay, a lot of experience.
The quick scouting report is that they'll let you play. Now that I say that, there'll probably be 5 fouls in the first media. But a physical game where there's not as many foul calls when you're shorthanded probably does help Boise State. So we'll let you get down with Bob. You're going to be on the call, 670. The TV announcers aren't even here, by the way. So watch it on TV. Turn down the sound because they're not even here. Listen to the ones that are. Bob and Abe, 670 KBOI. And you guys will have the pregame in 10 minutes, broadcast at the top of the hour. We appreciate it as always.
All right.
There he is, Abe Jackson. We'll let him get to the broadcast. Again, him and Bob Beeler coming up on KBOI 670 at the top of the hour. Again, we're broadcasting from the top of the stadium here because that's where they have the Ethernet cord for us. And then we'll be down by the court for the games. Mark Ziegler is going to join us, the outstanding writer for the UT he does a tremendous job. We're going to talk to Mark Ziegler here in a couple of minutes as well. He's nice enough to come up and join us here up at the top. But we want your comments. We want your score predictions. Where are you watching from? Let us know what you think. Colin Mitchell is here too. He's down by the court. Once Boise State comes back out, we'll try to see if we can get some warm-ups of Boise State down there. Perry's getting here late. What is the injury update? The latest injury update is Marcus Shaver Jr. is in a boot, and he is out tonight. So no Marcus Shaver Jr. He is in a boot. He will not play tonight. But Najee Smith will play, and I thought Najee Smith looked fine during the warm-ups. So that is good news, as Patsy and Peter Olson says that they have Smith. Hopefully Shaver will heal quickly, and don't know the status, but he is wearing a boot on his right ankle. So some sort of ankle or lower leg injury. It's the right one. He's in a big boot. And, again, he'll have a week off after this game. Boise State does not play until the following Saturday against Wyoming. So, obviously, you're hoping 10, 11 days is enough for him to heal. But somebody's going to have to step up, as Abe just said, whether it's Jace Whiting, whether it's Pavle. I mean, all these guards are going to have to combine to step up and really find a way to step up in his absence. Because there's no other way around it. It's one of the biggest, he's maybe arguably the best player on the team, and the senior leader, the captain. So they're going to be going up against it tonight. And the computer rankings and all that don't take into account injuries. So obviously it's Ken Palm has it at 3. The spread in Vegas I think is at 6. So we'll see. But again, we're taking your comments, we're taking your thoughts, all that good stuff on the Idaho Central Credit Union YouTube chat. If you're watching on Facebook, or if you're watching on Twitter, we would ask that you please go subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Bronco Nation News. It's free, it's easy, and you can turn on the notifications so you can find out when our broadcasts are live. And that's the easiest way. And while you're doing things and subscribing to things, download our app. It's in the Apple Store and Google Play, the new Bronco Nation News app. We would love to have you download that, and you can keep track of all of our stories, watch all of our videos. Everything can be done right there from the app. Bronco Nation News. As I said, we're waiting for Mark Ziegler to come join us from the San Diego Union Tribune, the outstanding writer there. So we'll tell you about a couple of our great sponsors while we wait for Mark to make it up here. Again, when Boise State takes the floor, we'll show you some more warm-ups as well. Colin Mitchell is manning the camera down by the court. But we are in the Cutwater Spirits mobile studios here at Viejas Arena. More than 30 flavors of premium pre-mixed cocktails. Pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. Don't forget that special going on right now, BNN15. BNN15 is the promo code from rowpaint.com. Again, you just use the promo code BNN15. You get 15% off the interior painting of your home. Let's see what else we got here. Checking some of the comments. We'll go ahead and tell you about Lithia Ford of Boise real quick as well, the title sponsor of our pre- and post-game shows here. We appreciate Lithia Ford of Boise. They are buying your used car. That's right. You don't even have to buy a car from them. You don't have to be a client of theirs. All you have to do is, just take your car in there, and you can give them your information, and that's 3 easy steps. While you wait, they'll give you a cash offer on the spot from the appraiser. So it's a very quick and easy process, and we're very thankful of Lithia Ford for their sponsorship of Bronco Nation News. And the Raines family has a vehicle, and you should too. With Lithia Ford of Boise. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Check them out as well. Idaho Central Credit Union online. Mobile e-branch banking is easier than ever to use, and we appreciate Idaho Central Credit Union and their sponsorship of Bronco Nation News. Speaking of Idaho Central Credit Union, they are a big sponsor of our golf tournament. Save the date. It's June 2nd. Save the date, June 2nd, Timberstone Golf Course. Put it on your schedule, and then we will let you know as soon as we're ready, probably in late March or early April, to put tickets on sale, sponsorships, things like that. But go ahead and save the date. Make plans for your foursome. We'll take you as a foursome or as an individual. And we'll have some players, some coaches. It's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully you'll consider playing in the second annual Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament at Timberstone Golf Course. Boise State is taking the floor. You hear some boos. This is an early 6 p.m. start, by the way. You can see Boise State taking the floor. It's a 6 o'clock. It's a 6 o'clock tip here, and I will say that the traffic is not good in the San Diego area at this time of the evening. So certainly it's hey, I see my wife sitting down there. She's right in front of me. She's going to hear this in a couple of seconds. But Karen Raines did make the trip to this one. I saw Mrs. Degenhardt here as well. We got a lot of players' families Chibuzo Abo is from the San Diego area, so you're probably going to have a ton of fans of Chibuzo Abo and family members of his. So we'll see if he can have a big game tonight back in his hometown. His 3 finalists when he chose Boise State this time were New Mexico, Nevada, and Boise State. Did not have San Diego State in his final 3, and I'm not sure if they didn't want him. And maybe that's a little extra motivation for him tonight. So Colin Mitchell manning the camera down there on the court. You see Boise State going with the blue uniforms. Blue uniforms tonight for Boise State on the road here at a sold-out Viejas Arena. Again, Boise State looking to take sole possession of first place in the Mountain West. And again, this is a game where if you're Boise State, you really want to win. A win would put you in a huge spot. You'd be in the driver's seat, I believe, for the Mountain West Championship. You'd be in first place with San Diego State still having to come back to Boise. But if you lose, I don't think it does that much for you. I don't think it's the end of the world if Boise State loses this game. You're without Marcus Shaver Jr. It's a quad 1 game on the road. It'll put you, all it really does is put you a game behind in the standings with the team in first place still having to come play you at your place. So I really don't see it as a must-win game for Boise State. But with that said, I think it's a bigger game for San Diego State. They're at home. They got the crowd. They have to win this game. So I think it's a bigger game on San Diego State's side. But with that said, you're kind of playing with house money tonight if you're Boise State. You really have nothing to lose in this game. And so I think Boise State's going to come out and, throw the kitchen sink at San Diego State, try some different combinations, try some different lineups, and you need Max Rice to go off, especially in the first half. You could use Max Rice hitting 3 or 4 threes. You could certainly use some other guys having some big games. It's certainly going to be a tough game here. Greg saying Buzo is from San Diego, needs to have a big game. Yep. Greg Myers has 54-51 on a last-second shot. Let's see what else we got coming into the YouTube chat. Big Arena, is it a sellout? I think it is close. We'll ask in a minute here to our guest whether or not it is. Tyson's got to have at least 20. That would be big. Logan's watching from Caldwell in his service truck. Appreciate that, you for watching. Thank you very much. We're going to bring on Mark Ziegler in just a second here. First, I want to we'll bring him on if he's ready to go, which he is. Let me do this here. Mark Ziegler. How you doing, sirs? You are the camera's over here. We appreciate you. You put your pizza down just to come on and talk to us. So
here's the pizza. People can see it.
He's got the pizza.
Excuse my bloody eye. I burst a blood vessel in my eye. I have no idea how. It's
my gosh.
Apparently, it's like a fairly common thing, and there's nothing you can do. Just wait 2 weeks, and your eye won't look like you got hit in the head.
San Diego Union Tribune. You do a hell of a job. I've been taking some flack on Twitter recently, but we all do. It's half the fun. It's college basketball. It is,
of course.
man. It seems like the rivalry in the Mountain West is just all about other teams' fan bases attacking the writers of the other teams. It is kind of weird, but we appreciate you coming all the way up here and joining us for a few minutes. Hopefully, folks will follow you on Twitter, SDUT Ziegler, and it's Zeigler. What do you make of the matchup tonight?
It's an interesting game. We'll see. It doesn't look like Shaver's playing.
Shaver's out with the boot on his foot, but Najee Smith is good to go.
So I think that's going to obviously be a factor. I think Marcus Shaver is an incredible player and the heart of the offensive team.
Yep.
I think Najee's the heart of the defensive side of the ball.
I will say this from the Boise State perspective, they have more options, I think, at guard than they do. They have nobody else at center, so they would have been in a lot more. I mean, not to say which one is a bigger loss, but I do think that they have more options to potentially make up for a short-term loss for Shaver than they do if Najee Smith would have been out. I would just say that from a Boise State fan perspective.
Yes.
I think if there was one of the two that had to play tonight, I guess they would probably have picked Najee. So, but you're right. I mean, he's one of the best players in the league, maybe a first-team all-league player. Hit the big three here last year in the tie game in the last minute.
100%. So, and these games have been so close that you take out a player of that caliber and maybe it sways it a little bit.
Oh, sure.
And the other thing that's interesting, it'll be interesting to see is San Diego State is very good coming off a loss. And it's because, the fan base loses its mind. The players, they had a players-only meeting yesterday before practice.
Oh, the players-only meeting.
The dreaded players-only meeting. But they really kind of, circle the wagons and rally around the flag and all those things. But the stat, which is incredible, is they're 18-3 in their last 22 games after a loss, and when the next game is at home after a loss, they've won 24 straight.
They don't lose very much here anyway, though.
That's the thing. They don't lose here very much anyway, and then you add that in. So I think they'll be ready to go. But, San Diego State's a very good team. Maybe at the beginning of the season, I thought they were slightly better than everybody else in the Mountain West. Not a lot, but I think they've kind of come back to the pack a little bit, or everyone else kind of jumped up to their level. And they're a little bit, I don't want to say fragile mentally, but they just can't win that game that gets them over the hump, whether that's the Arkansas game, the Maui Invitational, whether it's New Mexico here, whether it was Tuesday night at Nevada. They win any of those games, and they're ranked. They're much higher in the rankings, and they feel much better about themselves. They just can't quite get there. So that's why it'll be really interesting to see what happens.
And I saw some gambling guy post some stat that in the last 6 years, it's only happened 5 times where the Mountain West made a team play at Air Force.
I saw that,
and then play another road game. And who has the time to figure that stuff out? I have no idea. But at least against the number, 0-4-1 in the second road game after playing at Air Force
against spread. Yeah,
Boise State did stay on the road. Came over Wednesday. They've been here for 48 hours. I don't think that like fatigue or anything would be, but for fans, I mean, they got a lot of familiar players from last year, but for fans in Boise that maybe haven't paid a ton of attention to San Diego State, what's the scouting report on the Aztecs?
So they have most of the guys back from last year. The big additions are 3 guys. Jaden Ledee, who sat out last year, is a TCU transfer. He comes off the bench. He's 6'9", 240, and is an absolute beast. He's actually been playing pretty well lately. Could be a factor tonight. Darian Trammell, who starts at point guard, he's only 5'9", came from Seattle, averaging nearly 20 points a game. Struggled a little bit here, and both offensively and defensively because of his size. He's only 4 of 27 in his last 6 games behind the line and behind the arc, and so he's a guy who can score 20 a game, and it'll be interesting to see if he gets going eventually. And then Micah Parrish also comes off the bench, long left-handed shooter from Oakland University in the Detroit area. So those are the 3 main additions. But what's different about them is that they're much better offensively. They're 31st in the country offensively. It's the highest they've been in a while since the Malachi Flynn team. But and it's very rare for their offense to be rated better than their defense. And it's happened right now. They're 31 and 36, I think, in defense. That's the first time that's happened since 09-10.
Wow.
And so
read that in your preview.
Yeah, that's just something that's very odd about this team. And so I think people think
it's funny you say the defense. They're still ranked like top 40 in defense.
Yes,
it's not like there's some bad defense.
Well, but I'll say this: they were 14th, 3-4 weeks ago.
Okay.
And they're just fallen off the table, particularly in the second half. Their second half numbers are absolutely dreadful. And Nevada torched them on Tuesday in the second half, scored on 14 of their final 15 possessions, which is just unheard of in these parts.
Wow.
So even if San Diego State seems to lock up Boise in the first half, and I wouldn't get discouraged. I mean, the other night, their last home game to San Jose State. San Jose State had 14 points in the first half and came out and made a little bit of a game in the second half. So you have to weather the storm, and then you're okay.
What's I saw Sanko talking yesterday about the 3 times last year that Boise State beat them. I mean, is that probably hasn't happened very often. I don't remember what the stat is. Beating them 3 times in one season. Is that something? Has this game been circled for a while? You think for them, or
there's 2 games, 2 teams. This is a team that's been circled. The game that's really circled for these guys is next week at Utah State. They've lost 3 straight there and got blown out in all 3.
Okay.
And played horrible.
Based on watching that New Mexico game last night,
could happen again. Yeah. So that's the one they really want. But in terms of there are very few times. There's a few times going back in Mountain West history because of the tournament where you play a team 3 times in a season, but they've lost to them. Hasn't happened very often, and it's if the Utah State game is won, this is 1A for them. All these games against Boise, whether it's here, whether it's at Boise, whether it's in the conference tournament, it left a real sour taste in their mouth. They lost 9 games last year, and 3 of them to the same team.
Wow. What is this? Someone's asking if it's supposed to be sold out tonight.
I think so. Yeah, the last few games have been sold out. The students are back now. They were not back for the first few conference games, and so it was a little light in the student section. We're kind of near where we are, but it should be sold out, and it should be pretty loud. I think fans have been looking forward to this game for a while.
What's Brian Dutcher saying these days? How's he feel about the team and where they're at?
He acknowledges that they've gotten a lot better on offense, and he's not a doom and gloom guy, and he's like, we got to get better on defense, got to be more focused. But I honestly think as a staff, they're a little bit befuddled by what's happening in the second half on defense. I mean, it's not one thing you could point at. He says energy That's kind of an intangible.
Yeah.
Against Nevada, their second unit came in and actually was very, very good. And so maybe we'll see the second unit come in early. Maybe even they'll start the second half. They might do something radical like that.
Yeah.
But I think he's pleased with the offense, and he just knows how hard it is. He always talks about how hard it is to win in this conference, particularly on the road. And I think for San Diego State, I think the feeling is you win this game tonight. The other remaining home games, and there's one road game at Fresno State, you think you should be able to get if you are who you think you are. And that leaves at Boise, at Utah State, and at New Mexico. And they'd have to get one of those three to probably get to 14-4. That probably, I think 14-4 gets you the conference title or at least a share. I think that gets you a share. I think that's kind of their path, but it starts tonight. If they don't win tonight, I don't think they're winning the conference title.
And Boise, would you say there's more to lose, I guess, so to speak, for San Diego State tonight?
100%. This is a free game for Boise. You're not supposed to win this game. You're down a player.
Yep.
Just played a road game at Air Force.
Yep.
These guys coming off a loss, big crowd, fired up. I mean,
But, after tonight, you mentioned the schedule. I think that's going to be a factor down the stretch. Boise State's already gone to New Mexico, already gone to
100%.
Nevada. We'll have already been here. All they have to do is go 6 and if they lose tonight, and then they could even maybe lose at Utah State. But if they take care of their home games, they could be 14. They got a pretty nice path to 14-4 as well.
Yeah, I think so, and that's why I say I don't think anyone's getting a 15-3. The only team I think that has a chance is, as crazy as it sounds, because I think they're maybe the 4th or 5th best team in the conference, is Utah State, because they have all the big teams, but at home. And if they can go on the road and win all those road games against the lesser lower half of the league, they're going to go 15-3. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to slip up somewhere and go 14-4.
So how many teams do you think are getting in?
Well, right now, I think the only two that can really feel comfortable are these two. I think they did enough in the non-conference. I think the other 3 teams, New Mexico, Utah State, and Nevada, I just don't. I look at their resumes and I just don't see it. I just don't see the quality wins. I don't see that they challenge themselves.
Computers like them though.
The computers like them, but the thing is, you're going to get into that room, and we're taking 5 teams from a team from a conference that went 0-4 last year in the tournament.
Yeah.
No, I just don't see it happening. I think they'll maybe get 3 in, and you also have the wild card of conference tournament. I mean, I honestly still think there's 6 or 7 teams that could win that thing.
UNLV wouldn't surprise me. They've got some guys. There's a lot
They're
of
playing a little bit better.
Colorado State's gotten better with Stevens.
San Jose State.
Yeah,
embrace the underdog.
Boise State has to go there in a couple weeks, and that's a quad 2 game. Oh, it's crazy.
And that's a tricky game. They only beat
them by 3 in Boise. So
that's a tricky game. Yeah. They are hard to play. They don't give up. They believe. And those are the type of games that, for the top half of the conference, you're so focused on these other, heavyweights that you got to play. If you don't focus on one of those games, you're going to lose one of them.
Yeah.
And then you're out.
Yep. Well, hey, appreciate your time. We'll let you eat your pizza. Thank you so much. Mark Ziegler, got to follow you on Twitter. You're a great follow. I love it when you piss off other fans.
Yeah, you love it when they come after me.
I do the same thing. So
I got the state of Nevada after me right now.
SDUT Ziegler, Zeigler is your Twitter account. Folks can read you at San Diego UnionTribune.com.
All you got to do if you want to piss off other fans is tweet about how they stormed the court.
Oh,
they lose their minds.
Yeah, they've done that twice this year in the Mountain West, and they let the kids have fun, all that kind of stuff. You had a health situation. You had to be careful, right, at Reno.
It was a little scary. I've sent some emails to some people trying not to let that happen to somebody else. But yeah, it was not very well regulated, and court storms are always generally pretty scary.
Yeah.
This one was really scary, and they got to clean some things up, or someone's gonna get hurt.
Appreciate you, Mark.
All right, man.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. Best in the business covering Mountain West hoops. Make sure you follow him on social media and read his stuff as well. And he put his pizza down. I'll see you down there. Yeah, he put his pizza down to come on and talk to us. So we really appreciate that. It's supposed to be sold out, but I will say this. I think an early game here, 6 o'clock on and they're starting this game right at like 6:01, by the way, because it is 14 minutes on the clock at 5:40. So they're going to be doing the anthem and all that stuff at 57, 58. So I don't know if some of them just didn't think that the game was going to start at 6 or what, but it does look like it's a little bit of a late arriving crowd here in Viejas Arena, but it is supposed to be a sellout. Should be a lot of fun, and we are about 14 minutes away from tip-off. We got Whiting needs to play well, yes. Is Shaver out? Yes. Is the game on TV? Yes. The game is on Fox Sports 1, but there is no broadcast team at the game. So the broadcasters are in some studio somewhere. But, yes, the game is on. Let's go 4-0 today, Jordan says. Assume he's talking about some of the other Mountain West teams maybe helping out. Blue uniforms, Josh says, are fire. Keep this game close. Give yourself a chance to win at the end. Need a big game from Milner or Sada. Yes, you probably do need a big game from one of those guys. Again, if you're just joining us, Marcus Shaver Jr. is out. By the way, here's the blimp. You can see the blimp. They got a little blimp that's dropping coupons going around here, so you can see that. Marcus Shaver Jr. is out. Najee Smith is in. Hey, go check out the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. Free shipping, any order over $40. That's right, free shipping, any order over $40 online at theblueandorangestore.com. Appreciate the Blue and Orange Store. Bauscher Real Estate, check them out. The number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher. Get more information anytime you're looking to buy or sell a home. Use our friend Matt Bauscher at Bauscher Real Estate. Ridley's Family Markets, 13 Idaho locations. Go download the Ridley's app. Go download the Ridley's app, and you can get exclusive savings in the app at Ridley's Family Markets. Find the location near you at shopridleys.com. You need business insurance? Look no further. United Commercial Insurance. Quick call could save you hundreds of dollars. They can write business policy insurance in 44 states around the country. Make sure you check them out, UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. You're looking for a dentist? Boise Dentistry Co. Dr. Miner and his staff do a tremendous job. Check them out, BoiseDentistryCo.com, and we appreciate them. They take care of the Raines family. They can take care of you as well. You looking for a new job? How about Transportation Compliance Service? Want to get into the trucking industry? You want a new job? Transcomservice.com can help you out. Make sure you check them out, Transcomservice.com. They'll give you all the permits and things you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. We appreciate them. And, again, the weather's starting to warm up a little bit. Get out and play some golf. Check them out, playtimberstone.com. Tad's doing the lessons. I've had 2 lessons, and I've already made some tremendous improvement. You can as well. You get fitted for some new clubs. They got a lot going on at Timberstone Golf Course. Book a tee time. Get more information at playtimberstone.com. You see the crowd starting to file in. There's 11 minutes on the clock. I've got to get off here because we can't break Mountain West rules and be on 15 minutes prior to tip-off. So appreciate everybody for checking us out. Colin Mitchell is here as well. We're going to have full live coverage after the game. We're going to have interviews with Coach Rice and some players. We're going to have highlights, all kinds of great stuff after the game. So win or lose for Boise State, come on back after the game, and we'll have a full post-game show. No Marcus Shaver Jr., Najee Smith will play. Is Boise State going to be able to find a way to win this game? Well, we'll see. Big one for Boise State. This has been the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. Rowpaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, all of our great sponsors. Go grab a Cutwater, enjoy the game, have some fun, and we'll talk to you post-game after the game, about 30 minutes or so after the game. So we'll say about 9:30 in Boise. We'll be on the post-game show. So grab a Cutwater, and we'll hopefully have a fun Friday night if Boise State can play well and find a way to win this game. So thank you to all of you for commenting. Sorry if I didn't get a chance to play your comments, but they're about to do the national anthem, and I've got to get off the air. So have a great rest of your night. Good luck to the Broncos if you're a Bronco fan, which I'm sure most of you are. And, again, we'll talk to you on the post-game show about 30 minutes after the game. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. YouTube's the best one, so go to the YouTube channel. Check it out, and we'd love to have you on there. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.